Hi all, this is Lynn with Paper Life, and I am going to do kind of a craft with me tutorial thing. Hot mess, laugh at me as I make mistakes. Last time I did a video, Angela had asked me to do one of the paper bag journals, and I kind of cheated and folded some of them, but I'll show you what I did. I grabbed my newest kit. I always print out all my papers before I post it just to make sure there's no problems with it. And this is actually a freebie that I'm offering in Paper Lifers on Facebook. But I always print out my kits, and usually a couple times before they get posted for sale, so I always end up having extra papers. So I figured I would use the kit in this project. So let's go over kind of what I jumped ahead and did. I did grab some coffee paper, or coffee stained or tea stained. I don't remember what this one was because I want to put some blank pages in here as well. I grabbed 5 paper bags. Here's one of them that I'm putting to the side. This is going to be some kind of cover, but I'm not sure yet. We'll figure that out when we get there. All I did was kind of eyeball how big I thought I wanted them, because I want some to have this flap, and I want some of them to have that part cut off. So I just kind of measured it inside so I could cut that off of there, so that I'll have a pocket on each side. Mine ended up being, let's see, about 4.5 inches wide and 5 inches tall, but a lot of it depends on the type of bags that you're using. And I actually tried to kind of go through and make, if they had this on there, let's see, let me find one that does. Like this one will be keeping it. I tried to make it a little bit smaller because I know I'm going to be OCD and have to cut them down so that I don't have a bunch of the papers overhanging each other. So I want to go ahead and let's do that first. Let's cut these bags down to the right size. And all I'm going to do is take this one that I want to keep the flap on, and I'm going to put it here, so that when I cut it, I know that all my flaps that I don't want to cut off are on one side. And all I'm trying to do is kind of eyeball these in. Now, by all means, you can skip this step if you want to. You do not have to do this, but I figured this thing's probably going to get pretty full, and I don't know. You guys know I'm weird about that by now, right? Okay, you guys know I'm weird about a lot of this by now, right? So with this, you could use any scrapbook paper, anything you want. Like I said, I just used what I did because I had it. So that is our pages there. Okay, good. I'm not completely off camera. Sorry, I am still trying to get used to this, and to be honest, I'm hoping you're not all completely upside down, because for some reason I cannot get the hang of how I need to record so that I don't have to go through and do it in editing. So 5 inches tall. I'm going to cut some of this paper down. How many do I have here? Okay, there's only 2 here. Let's grab 2 more. Why not, right? I have such a huge mess going on. I did, however, wait until the dishwasher was done running before I recorded this. But if you hear something like a horse running around my house, pay it no mind. It's only my dog. At the current moment, he is sleeping. We'll see how long that lasts for. I have so much junk and trash on here that I need to put away. So I don't really know how I'm going to do this yet. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I guess for right now I'm going every other one. That works out. We'll keep it with the every other one. Yeah, and like you see, it's already getting really thick. I guess these paper bags should be more of a, almost a mini journal, not how many pages can we shove in there, but, I'm saying but a lot. You guys know by now that I don't do small very well. So what I was thinking for the cover was I folded a little bit of it over, because I'm thinking have this cover come down like this. So that it closes like so. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Let's see. The other thing I want to do is kind of eyeball how thick this is going to be. I'm going to say, oh, it's not quite a quarter, or it's more than a quarter, but it's not really a half. I think I'm going to put about a ½ inch, just so this has room to grow. Let's do a ½ inch. Let's do a ½ inch. I don't know why, but that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do at least. I, of course, do not have any form of score tool over here, but I do have a screwdriver. You never know what's going to be laying around on my desk. So, well, I say my desk, but honestly, we're at the kitchen table. The only problem with this is it's almost half sharp and wants to tear through there instead of creasing it. So that will be how our cover is. Ta-da! Let's see. Shall we work on some pages? Why not? I went through and I cut some of the pages from the digital, just kind of cutting out what pictures I wanted. And I cut this 4 to a 4.5. So I left about a ½ inch space all the way around it, because on this page it's going to have about that 1/4 inch all the way around. But once we get into this middle, it starts becoming less. And I was just trying to make it easy on myself and not make you watch me forever. So let's see, I'm going to do a page or two and then we'll move on to the cover. I don't think you guys want to sit here and watch me do all of these, and I don't honestly blame you. So here's my first page. I'm going to use just tacky glue today. It's a little more difficult to work with for this, and it's mostly because I find sometimes it wants to wrinkle up my pages because it's a wetter glue, but I figured everybody has tacky glue at home, so that's why I kind of went with it. I, of course, don't have any type of scrap paper sitting around for me to use. Oh, here we go. So I figured everybody had some tacky glue. I like Yes Paste. That's a good product. Elmer's Glue has a rubber cement that works pretty good too. Glue stick works. I just don't trust it for being a permanent hold or even a semi-permanent hold. If you're going to use a glue stick, you might want to do some sewing around it. And once we get on the cover, I'll show you kind of how I break down the cover if I'm going to, how I break down a paper bag if I wanted to do sewing around it. Let me not get my fingers all in here. You could, of course, distress ink all of this before you put it down. Again, I don't figure you guys want to sit here and watch me do that, so I'll just do it afterwards. What is it with me? I can never get the right amount of glue. It's either too much or not enough. So whenever I get to this part, I usually just check to make sure that I don't have any pages that are up or parts of the bag that are up like that. It probably wouldn't matter because I'm gluing over the top of it, but I just want to make sure. I don't know why I glued there. I don't know why I did that. Does anybody know why I did that? Brain fart. Oh well, it's going to get covered up. Nobody will know it besides all of us. Right? Right. I think what I'm going to attempt to do is to glue this down to the flap and then cut it off and glue the remainder on this other page. I don't know why, but I feel like making life more difficult. So why don't we make it more difficult? However, alright, I'm trying to go easy on the glue, something you guys know I'm not good at. I'm going to take my handy dandy wax paper and put it under there so I make sure I don't glue that page down before I want it glued down. Alright, we're going to see if this was a completely horrible idea or if it was a smart idea because I've never done it before. So we will find out. That's the one thing one of the things I really like about the paper bags is that it already has really kind of a grungy, you know, it's brown, so it has kind of that grungy look to it. And it doesn't take much working to get the distress to cover in there well. The distress ink. I'm using the Vintage Photo Distressed Oxide again. So it would probably be helpful if I wasn't in such a rush and let this dry. sounds like way too much work and not near as much fun. This way, if I keep messing it up, I'll just have to go back through and re-glue it all, right? Okay. So in theory, this should work. We will see. I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it upside down on here. And find my utility knife that my blade has decided it doesn't want to stay in. There we go. I told you guys this was hot mess video, right? At least I am not lying to you. Can't find what I need. Talking about not being able to find what I need. I was originally going to round these corners, but I looked for my corner rounder, Big Bite, whatever it's called, by We Are Memory Keepers, and okay, I might have looked for all of 2 seconds, but I couldn't find it, so I gave up. So we are just not going around the corners. Okay, at least I'm not. You can. It would probably look much better. Now I don't remember how that came off. Come on, glue. Thank you. I don't have a mason jar handy, or I'd put this in upside down. Oh, I have one kind of handy. Handy enough. Really? Okay, so I'm going to try to glue this back down on here with those two lining up. Hopefully making it look kind of like a, I mean, obviously I'm not trying to make it look like a seamless photo, especially since I distressed around the edges, drawing attention to the fact it wasn't a solid piece. But just so it kind of lines up like that, looks cute. In my opinion, it looks cute. Just tell me it looks cute. I need to know. Okay, sorry. So this would be like our first page in the book, our second page, then going into here. Now, one thing that I like to do, because, well, I always go crazy on my books and the pockets become way too full, is instead of having this big large pocket like that, I mean, honestly, I'll keep some of them that way, but on some of them, what I'll do is, one, let me go through here and fix this spot where it wants to come up. High tech. High tech crafting. Everybody watch out. I don't have the top of the glue in my mouth or anything at the current moment. Okay. So now that I fixed that, one of the things I like to do is come in here where this fold is, and I just run a bead of glue. Really, you only need it kind of like that, just so it keeps that pocket a little bit smaller. I mean, you'll still get 2 folds in it, but it won't expand as much. which keeps me from going too crazy. So let's see. Our first page has that flap there. And this just allows you to be able to tuck something in there if you want. I got a regular pocket, so I can put little goodies in there. It's going to actually kind of aggravate me having it paper bag, coffee paper, paper bag. It's too uniformed. I want to put this on the other side. So pocket, paper bag, pocket. I said paper bag. Coffee paper, pocket, coffee paper, pocket. Then there's another pocket, or another one of those little tucks. Coffee, pocket, and the outside page. So once this is completely done, all of these, see, I went through and kind of cut them all, will be put in here. Let's see. I'll do one more. Why not? It sounds like fun. I love this picture way too much. So it has to go close to the front so I can see it. Why not? It's so pretty. Oh, let's see. I didn't put my glue back in the right way. Oh yeah, let's listen to the tacky glue knot go. The soundtrack of this video will be the tacky glue blowing air because the glue's all on the other end of it. Oops. I, of course, did not grab any paper towels or anything to wipe my hands with, so by the time this video is done, I'm sure I'll have fabulous looking fingers. So that's my goal of how this will look at the end. Which, if I have time, I may go ahead and finish this before I post the video so I can come back and show you kind of what I was thinking, or how it worked out, or how it didn't work out, which is more likely to be me. Here is our cover. So what I want to do, you know what, matter of fact, let me show you on this first. So when I'm going to sew around them, I don't want to sew my pocket shut. So usually what I'll do is I just kind of take the bag apart. Just by trying to kind of carefully, now it doesn't really matter since I'm going to put paper on top of this again, but trying to not completely slaughter it when I pull it apart. Now, the other time I did one of these was for a swap, and I believe I went in and opened up the cover like this to reinforce the spines and to just give it a little extra strength. I think I put some cardstock in there, and knowing me, a little bit of fabric on the hinge parts. But yeah, so if you were going to sew, now you have it all pulled apart, so you can, you know, open it up, sew around, and be all hunky-dory. And then all you need to do is glue it back together. If you're not going to sew, here in a moment you can rejoin this video. We'll just act like there's two of them so you didn't have to watch all this boring part of me talking about this if it is not relevant. But but sadly there's not going to be 2 videos. So if you glue that back down, if you're sewing it, and then try to remember how this folded in. Maybe. All right. Here we go. Come on back. Work with me. Woohoo! Okay. Now, the reason I opened it up on this part is because I want to go through and glue all of this down for the cover so that this little flap is good and strong. So I'm just smearing glue around. You guys know me, I'm a little glue crazy. So let's all be glue crazy. Yep. I want to put this other flap down first since I kind of tore that one. I don't know how madly frustrating or interesting this video is, but hopefully you're still with me and no one's fallen asleep. But if you fell asleep, I have no hard feelings, because I probably would have too. Now, when we did this, this was the part that came over where our signature is going to be. So what I want to do is I want to glue this part down. I hope I'm not being completely confusing. I feel like I'm being completely confusing because my descriptive words is this part, this flap, this thingy bobby. Yeah. Okay, well, honestly, that's probably all my videos, but more so than normal, I feel like I am not being very descriptive. So, that goes like that. Hopefully do this without gluing these pages. I'm just trying to kind of see where my signature comes in so that I can work out what I think I want to do for the cover. I basically cut some of the pages just in half so I kind of see what would work here and what wouldn't. Most of that will probably be cut off. Let's go with this. Ew, the glue's a talking about. Alright, so I'm thinking let's go ahead and give ourselves the 1/2 inch margin. Margin? Yeah, there we go. I can almost say a word. The 1/2 inch margin that we had before. So I'm going to cut this the same way. I'm going to do it at 4 inches. And then I don't remember the other measurement. I don't remember the other measurement. Five inches? Oh wait, 4.5, I think. Right? Right? I don't remember. I don't remember. This one's 4. No, this one's 4.5. Oh my gosh, guys, I don't remember. Okay, 5. So I want to make it 4.5 inches tall. Woohoo! Jeez Louise, I'm gonna forget again by the time I get this cut. I may save that. Well, okay. I save all of this. And this is, if you guys have ever bought my digitals, you know that I don't really put, sometimes you'll find me putting belly bands in there or something like that. Usually I don't, because honestly, I feel like you get them already in the kit by anything you cut off. Why put more of them in there when I could put other things? I don't know. I don't know. Well, that is not how I wanted to cut that at all. I'm trying to kind of somewhat line this up when I'm cutting to get the part that I want of the picture in there. But this is like way too precise of work for me. I don't do this kind of stuff. Now, do we want our front pocket, our front cover to have a pocket on it or not? I'm thinking not, just so it has that extra strength. What do you guys think? Alright, well, I can't hear you yell at me, so we're going to go with not. So all I'm going to do is run some glue in here, kind of glue that down. And hopefully do that on this side. Alright, now I'm not saying I'm going to be very good at this, but I want to run a little bit of glue on this inside lip. On both sides of this little gusset. Ooh, that sounds like a more descriptive word. We'll go with gusset. Yeah, there we go. I don't know if I want to glue this down yet. One, because I got to trim some off. But two, I don't know if I want to end up putting a closure on here or not. Seems weird to not put one. I don't know. Alright, let's see. How am I cutting this paper down? So because I folded this over and it's not the full length of it, I do need to cut my cover page down just a little bit. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I have 4 inches, so my paper itself should be, if I'm doing the same 1/2 inch, 3 and let's do 1/4. Yeah, we'll do that. So I feel like I'm going to mess this up. Alright, I'm actually going to do 3 1/2. Because it just seems smaller than I want it to be. So let's do 3 1/2. Alright, I think I've decided if I put a closure on here, I'm just going to tie it into the spine. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller of a margin around the sides, but I feel like the 3 1/4 would have been too much. Play with our glue. I mean, let's face it. I think I do crafts because I'm like a kid that never grew up. Well, maybe not in all senses. But when it comes to playing with glue, I'm like a kid that never grew up. Okay, so we have that. And I saved this piece because I think I want to put this on the cover of that flap like that. So let's see, our flappy flap is about 1.5 inches. So I'm only going to make this about 1 inch. Actually, what I want to do is just kind of push this down on some wax paper. Oh, well, I'm glad I didn't want those papers or anything. So let's cut this at 1 inch. Like so. Oh, my height wasn't done yet. What in the world was our height? Now I have like that one, what is it? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Something like that. I don't know. Okay, I'm showing my wackadoodness. Alright, we need to cut this at 4.5. So, you guys make sure I only cut this at 4.5. I am not left-handed at all. Alright, hopefully I didn't mess this up. But that's going to get glued there. I feel like I messed that up. Whatever. Good enough. So yeah, now that will go over there like that. I think it's kind of cutesy. You might want to wait for your glue to dry better than I did in here, because it's making my papers kind of fold up, but whatever. Whatever. We'll just put the wax paper there and then I can pretend like I don't see it. So these will go in like that, and then this will go over the top. My paper's not working the way I want for it to. Okay, we're going to pretend like that goes over the top. But it will. It will, just not at the current moment. Okay, so I had a friend ask me today, because she commented on my pokey tool for poking my holes in for a signature. This is, ew, very dirty hands. But this is just a tool that I got from Harbor Freight. It came in like a 4-pack with different shapes. And I think it was a couple bucks. It wasn't expensive at all. But she was going to use a nail and didn't know if it was going to work. A nail will work. A push pin will work. Really, anything sharp will work. You do not have to have a fancy gadget to poke holes. Okay? So, grab anything. I've straight just used my needle before. Now, it's a little more challenging, but I've done that. I'm going to do the pamphlet stitch, the 3-hole pamphlet. So, eyeball my center about 1/2 inch from the top, 1/2 inch from the bottom. Now that might have been the top, that might have been the bottom, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Try to make sure, nope, my holes didn't go all the way through. I didn't think they did. And honestly, as thick as this book is, I probably should have marked my holes. But pff, that's no fun. Like my middle hole went all the way through, but these aren't yet. All right. Guys, this is, I use this book just for binding. I keep my wax paper in here. I will quite often just push my needle in there or up here in just the top spine part. I use the inside part for punching my holes. Just, it's handy, it's all in one spot. I don't know why I just put my needle up. But it makes it where I can keep it all together and just grab one and call it good. Grab one thing and then I have everything I need for binding. Just makes it easier for me. So that is my advice for today, is just grab one old book and keep all your binding stuff in there. Oh, I forgot that I was going to put some type of closure. Let's see. Here, we'll grab some ribbon. Kind of eyeball how much we think we want. For anybody watching my videos for the first time, yes, this is normal me trying to craft. Always last minute, not knowing what I'm going to do. It's just the way it is. Sorry, I can't help it. It's just me. So let's see, how do I want to? I don't want to take my needle back out of there because I'm too lazy to poke it back through the hole again. Jeez Louise. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue underneath my top hole, because I don't want to take my ribbon back out, or my needle back out. Again, be smarter than me. Do this before you get this far. I should name these videos like how not to do this stuff. Because I think I take the hardest possible way, and that's what I do. But hey, at least if you do it like that too, you know you're not alone. I will do it the hardest way as well. Alright, so here is my middle hole. I'm going to go back through one of my end holes. This is actually my bottom, but it doesn't really matter. I went with my bottom, so maybe I'll hold that ribbon in that's just barely glued until the glue dries. Go back through my middle hole. maybe kind of, sort of. Maybe kind of, sort of. Is this gonna work out for me? There we go. I have to find where my needle's at. Okay, now what I want to do is just work kind of my excess thread to make sure that it is as snug as I can get it without ripping through. And usually what I'll do is I kind of try to get it in there, and then if you try to pick it like a violin, if it makes a little bit of a tapping noise, you know it's pretty tight. Yes, that is really what I do when you guys aren't watching me. Okay, so here is my little glue not dry on it yet. Paper bag journal. I know I teased and said that hopefully I would get this done in time to show you in this video. I'm not going to be able to. I can tell you right now my shoulder is acting up. So the chances of me finishing this today is probably not good. But if you guys are a member of Paper Lifers, I will definitely post some pictures in there once I get it done. It'll probably take me a couple days. And if you're not, why are you not with the cool kids yet? Okay, sorry, the nerd in me is coming out. Alright guys, you have a great day. If you're interested, I'll go ahead and post a link to this kit. It's really just, I don't know. I had so much fun making it. It's all florally, and there's a bunch of fairies in here. Because see, I can take and cut this pocket out. And I was actually going to do that in the video and forgot to. And put it in my journal, in this little paper bag journal. It should fit. Yeah, about fit. About fit. Fit about enough. But yeah, it's just florally. It has a bunch of fairies. I did like I normally did. And I got lined and unlined. Here's a couple pieces that I cut. But I've done a lot of the same images or changed them just a little bit so that you could still write on the paper. I don't know if you guys find that helpful, but sometimes I like to have just the image without writing space. And sometimes I like it with writing lines. And I can never read your minds to know which ones you would like how. So that's why I just do all of them. Ha ha. Alright guys, I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to go give my shoulder a break before I got to go to the gym. I'll try to finish this up in the next couple days, and then I'll post some pictures showing you what I did, or how bad I messed it up. Stay tuned. Bye guys.